This is Tucker Braddock. I'd like to call the Harbor Management Commission to order. It's at 1700 hours. This is a special meeting, and we will stick right to the agenda. And we do have a form. And the approval of the minutes. I hope everyone has had an opportunity to look at the minutes. And motion to move the minutes.
This is John. I'll make a motion. They're approved.
John Salmon with the motion on Zoom.
All those in favor? Signifying aye.
We gotta do roll call. Gotta do roll calls. So we'll go in the room first. Mike Aliano.
Present?
Yes.
Yes.
Mark Tucker Braddock.
Yes.
Mike Gualtieri. Mark Betancourt. Yes. Sophia.
Yeah. Yes.
John Salomon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's unanimous.
Really, I'm sorry, but can I just verify who made the first motion and seconded?
John Salmon.
I
John
made the
Salomon. And then Mike Gualtieri, right, for the second.
Great, thanks so much, guys.
And so we're going to the community policing report. We don't have a police officer here, so we cannot give any reports to us. Have any correspondence? And other correspondence. Michael Terry talked about them, financial.
Okay, the month of September, the only item we had was our half of the Harbor Cam bill, $75.40. Gives us total expenditures year to date, $226.20. Our net income year to date is $6,773.80. And our current balance available is $21,706.11, of which $5,720.32 is restricted for the harbor management plan, and which leaves us unrestricted funds of $15,985.79.
Any questions about that?
The only question I have is just how often do we pay him? Once a year?
I think we've been paying.
You know, there's an issue with him billing us at one point that,
Yeah, he,
not an issue, but he hadn't built
Yeah,
a.
you have to prod him to.
Yeah.
Okay.
To submit an invoice. That's, in fact, I will tell you, that was when I was in the aughts, when I was on harbor management, when your dad was here, we had the same problem.
Okay.
So,
I'm not knocking, I was just,
Yeah.
we don't see that in a line item monthly, so I was curious how. Okay.
he sends us an invoice and we pay it.
Always a very detailed invoice.
Hi, Mark. This is Jeff. I'm
Yeah.
calling in if you can hear me.
Yep. Yeah, Jeff.
Good.
Did you just hear us?
Yeah, Jeff. Did you just hear us? We were making fun of you, Jeff.
That's
Do we owe you
okay.
anything?
I didn't hear any. I didn't hear any
No, it was
bad
nothing
words.
bad. It was just a question about invoicing, actually, just how, yeah, we're making sure you were getting paid or whatever, you know?
And if Mark, if something, my phone goes out. I'm sitting in a parking lot in West Haven here, and so hopefully the reception will continue, and there's no background noise to interrupt.
All right.
Right.
West Haven? No, West Haven's
Yeah.
not too.
Yeah. It's close enough to you.
All right, so we have a motion to.
Make a motion to accept.
Second it.
Second, motion by Mark Sacuso, second by Michael Aliano to accept the connection, the report.
Roll call.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Tucker Braddock, aye. Mark Sacuso,
Aye.
Mike Aliano,
Aye.
Mike Gualtieri,
Yes.
too many mics. Mark Betancourt, aye. Sophia Lewitt,
Yes.
John Salomon,
Yes.
unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, the topic next is the harbor master report, and we don't have anyone from, Mr. Thayer is not here. I will say that he should be momentarily receive his commission from the governor. Tom was notified from the governor's office, and that he was going to take care of it up in the governor's office. And you just have to have one person, you just need one person to do this. We don't need a selection of people. And I think one of the things that has been coming up on his radar is this boat that's been down off the Shipping Street area, tied up to the Josh Produce's property. And
Did you want to get into that now or?
no, I'll wait.
Because it's in the, it's under old business.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, just a quick question. I know that he's probably very busy, but I know he's doing a lot, and I would like to see kind of a, if he's unable to make it, maybe a written report from him,
Okay.
just saying what he's done for the month. And not, it's not a negative, not negative at
Okay.
all.
Okay.
I think he does a lot down there that people need to know about, and would be a good thing. And I'm not trying
It should
to.
be documented.
Yeah, put 'em on the
If
spot,
anyone
and, you know.
says what to do.
Yeah,
it should be
right.
documented.
Exactly. Just kind of like,
Just
hey, I
kind of-
checked on the boat, I did this, we found this, just something to think about. If he's unable to make it, just maybe a quick report. And that would be a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, just because, like I said, Mike makes a good
In-
point.
in the
He's doing things.
Yeah.
You know.
Just someone says, what's he do? It's,
Right.
there's a lot of unseen stuff that I'm sure he's doing. It'd be nice to have that documented to defend that. Also the community policing, it's since I've been on board, we've had the community policing and it's never, we haven't had anyone report in. So either we,
Used to come, but
He used
when
Who
that
is
guy
it?
left,
When
I
COVID
forget who it was.
is it Ryan O'Connell? Count?
When COVID took over,
It was Lazarus.
just went away.
Well, maybe again, just to report, like I get it, people's time is valuable and they can't make it and I understand, but if we at least know what is the community policing aspect of the harbor management? I don't even know, I'm asking a question. I don't know what the purpose of having them report it.
I think the report is that any larceny that happens down along the marina, things like that.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's important to, so that they're aware of the fact that people have boats there and
Sure.
personal property.
And I know they, you know,
So again, I don't want to waste someone's time by having them come, but at least saying, hey, listen, we had 22 responses in the last quarter for emergency services or police services to the area of the harbor, and this is what's been found. And if we see some kind of epidemic, we can address it as the Harbor Management Commission if it falls under our purview.
and I know
That or
Yeah.
the park or whatever.
Yeah, I know that they do, you know, business checks. So for example, hey,
Yeah,
we
they've been
checked, we checked it so many times and.
When we had,
Right, absolutely. And I know they're short staffed and I
Yeah.
understand.
when we had Putts Up Dock, we had an officer save us big time down there, but it would be nice to know. And if someone does something above and beyond, it'd be nice for us as the committee to recognize them for it.
Absolutely, okay. Do we have any new business?
The only thing I had was gonna ask about that boat. That's,
Okay.
I think it's crazy.
The
this-
budget request,
Let's bring it up.
you got the budget request on here
It's on, it's
Oh,
on.
that's the next
Yeah.
budget.
under new business.
All right, we've been getting like $7,000 a year from the city to manage our commission. I spoke with John this afternoon and I just, what, does anyone have any thoughts about? Yeah. Does anyone have any thoughts about what?
What's the need, Tucker? I mean, that's what, yeah, that's what, it's gotta be based, it's gotta be based on that. So budget requests gotta be based on these. So, obviously, we have to pay Jeff.
Right.
And so what other expenses are we gonna have for the year? And we have to account for that. That's all.
The camera and Jeff are the only line items I can think of us
And,
having to address.
and we know the percentage we have to match if we write another grant, because there's more grant out there, right? So if we say we want to write a grant.
That would
for-
be the other.
That
Yeah,
would be the
that-
only other thing, that if we
yeah.
have 300,000 and matching is 10, make sure if we got the grant, we had the minimum of 10.
Well, a lot of times that's gonna be covered under a city resolution
perfect,
anyway.
okay, perfect.
Yeah,
I
most of the
didn't
time,
realize.
yeah. Most of the time when we got stuff like that,
Okay,
we'll
that's
submit it to city council, through John and get it done that way.
Like the docks, the public
Yeah.
docks. Okay.
Yeah, that kind of
So,
stuff,
so
whatever.
I would
So
question.
anything outside of the normal purview of the day-to-day of what we got. So anything we got day-to-day that we know that we're gonna have, we should include in a budget request. Outside of that, then, it's really, if we don't have something concrete, then, or or any good expectation of it, then we can, then we
Yeah,
should
yeah,
resubmit a request.
We do have to front for, engineering and those types of things. So we.
You talking about for a project?
Yeah.
So
Or a grant.
those are part of the, those are
Yeah.
part of the
Is that all
appropriation for the
included
grant,
in
yeah.
that, or-
Because when we get the money for the docks, we have money coming back to the Harbor Commission in that.
I'm in Harbor
Our
Mentor
upfront
meeting.
cost.
Let me call you back.
14-ish or something like that.
And how
Yeah,
much do we
thanks.
get a year?
Seven.
7,000.
No, oh, that's not tough.
That's what I asked for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
are you looking for a motion to continue to ask for a specific amount, or is that
Yeah,
next meeting?
let's have a motion. So
What do we need as far as the cameras and Jeff? What are we gonna need? Let's talk, that should be the minimum.
Fronting grant. Requests,
You have to pay for the minutes,
John?
estimates, so forth.
the minutes secretary.
Sorry, Melinda too. Melinda's payment.
Oh, Melinda's
Yeah,
payment too, the minutes. Thank you, John. Thank you.
thank you, Melinda.
Thank you, John. Melinda didn't say anything, it was John. Melinda's too nice, I'm just saying.
Melinda, do you bill us or do we automatically pay you quarterly?
What's the question?
How do you get paid? Do you bill us or do we automatically cut a check for you? Or
No, I bill the city quarterly.
quarterly, okay. So have you billed yet or you're about to?
I'm about to. How's that?
Okay.
The more you ask, the more she's billing.
When, sorry again, when is the, I should know it's being here, for 18 years. When do you need to have in the request for the budget?
John needs to run now.
Needs, okay.
He's gonna start,
Yeah, he was starting.
formulating numbers now.
And he's got to put this number together with all the. other-
Correct, I understand. So we're just starting
Just-
again.
right,
negotiate.
yeah.
Well, you want to just include them, if we had 7 last year,
We're
some,
getting 7 a year.
yeah. So how long has that been stable like that?
It's worked for a while,
That's working.
ever since I've been on the commission.
So we haven't had to get an additional appropriation or anything then?
No.
All right, will 7 do again?
I think 7
Yeah.
again.
All right, then. I'll make the motion that we make a request to the city manager's budget of an appropriation of $7,000 for the next fiscal year.
I'll second the motion, Michael Aliano.
And by roll call,
On Tucker Braddock,
yes. Aye.
Mark Sacuso,
Yes.
Michael Aliano,
Yes.
Mike Culture, I forget people's names here. Peter Nystrom, Mark Betancourt's a yes, Lisa, Sophia Lewitt,
Yeah.
John Salomon.
Yes,
So-
There you go, it's unanimous.
Okay, fine. Okay. That's
Old business.
just an old business, the mural that David Bishop has done for the in front or back, however you want to look at it, of the Norwich Police Station. He's done the police department's done a fantastic job. It really comes out. I hope we'll all have some moments to sit down and look at it. And but now we should think about how we can acknowledge Mr. Bishop. And he does not want money. And John Solomon suggested that I think at the last meeting that we reimbursed for the paint. He's used many gallons of paint, and he's always paid it out of his pocket. And some volunteer like that, if we can just keep him going. I mean, he's happy with what he's doing. Matter of fact, he's taken on the buoy that's been taken out, the Norway buoy, and he's redoing that whole thing, painting and spiffing it all. It's not, it's a part of the Harbor Commission, actually Joel's buoy, but he's just doing it.
I would also like to present the idea of giving them a gift certificate for dinner to a local restaurant.
I thought we agreed upon that last meeting.
Yeah, I
We were
think-
gonna buy some gift certificates,
And we-
one support local
we talked
business,
about it.
two,
Yeah, we talked about it.
we're working
And we
on
talked
it.
about a story card, and I wrote something up in appreciation of repainting the mural in front of the Norwich Police Station, funded by the Norwich Harbor Commission, as well as Ron Aliano, and designed by Nancy Maureen and David Bishop, in the true spirit of volunteer, recapturing the essence of the spirit of our welcoming harbor. Something like-
And if you get that to me, Tucker, I'll have our graphic artist do something.
Okay, okay. I will-
Is $200 too rich for a gift certificate?
I would think that's very generous. I think it's great,
Okay, I would say, I mean,
if not more, yeah.
200 are there, and then, I mean, I don't know how
In the
much paint you use, but why don't you say, if you won't tell you how much paint you use.
Don, do you know how much paint you use?
It was less than I thought. It was like about 8 gallons or something of that nature, Tucker. Is that about right?
Well, if you use high-end paint, it's like $50 a gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tucker
so
Tucker
you-
had the prices. He did get
Yeah,
it. He did get a veteran's discount, but I'd be fine if we did 3 local downtown places, did $100 at each restaurant. I think $300 for his time and materials is a cheap return on investment. And it would support 3 local businesses downtown. I don't know if I need to raise a motion for that, but that would be my suggestion.
Well, I mean, the only thing I thought was get him like a gift certificate to Sherwin-Williams or a gift card to Sherwin-Williams, because he always buy paint. That's where you
He
know.
buys it at Lowe's
Oh,
with
does
his
he?
veterans.
Oh, well, that's how- there you go.
believe-
Yeah, they get a better
10%.
discount there, yeah.
Yeah, so, supporting local downtown businesses.
I'd rather do that than Lowe's, yes,
Would be my suggestion, but,
correct.
Yeah, that's good.
so,
Our business
Plus the
is, you know,
paint, eh?
you know.
well, I don't think he's gonna take money for the paint. So
Yeah.
I think if we were to buy him at least
Oh, just.
$300 in gift certificates from 3 different
Okay.
local eateries. Yeah,
Wilson's, wherever you want to pick any. Listella, I don't care. Spin the wheel.
I like that idea. I get a motion.
raise a motion that we get 3 $100 gift certificates to 3 local downtown eateries, or at least local eateries,
In Norwich, let's just say Norwich.
Norwich eateries. Yeah, perfect.
I second.
Okay, we'll call it.
Tucker Braddock,
All right,
Mark Sacuso,
Yes.
Mike Galliano,
Yes.
Mike Walcheri,
Yes.
Peter Nystrom, Mark Bencourt, yes. Sophia Lewitt. Let's say something. Yes, oh, you're muted, okay. We'll take it a yes, okay, you're on video. John Salamone,
Yes.
it's unanimous.
okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we have the issue of a sunken boat down off of, in the shipping street area, tied off of Josh Provis's property. And it's a big boat, it's about 50 feet long. It was pretty good before it sank. It's probably actually worthless right now. I know the harbor master has called Coast Guard. And I think Mark has too. And the calls have been made to deep. And we called our local fire department, trying to get some kind of containment of the leaking of the fuels on the boat. It's gasoline on the boat. I don't think it's diesel.
It's leaking.
It's leaking. It's
So,
still leaking as of yesterday.
I'd be surprised if that's gas. That's a larger boat.
Yeah, you would think it'd be diesel, yeah, 50 footer.
Okay.
Yeah.
so with the
Still, if it's leaking, aren't they supposed to boom it and stuff?
Yeah.
so the amount is not below the reportable quantity, but basically it's not the tanks themselves, it's just the oil that's on the decks, everything that's associated.
Oh,
So it's natural.
maybe what's in the motor and
Yeah,
stuff like that,
naturally,
that's sealed
what's
in
gonna happen
anyway.
is when something goes underwater, if you think about it, if you walk through a puddle with oil on the bottom of your,
Okay.
just everywhere you walk is gonna leave something. So it's essentially, it looks worse, but it's not. as
Yeah,
bad
it
as-
spreads out over the top of the water.
Correct, it's gonna come to the top and it shows it's, lighter than water, so. it
It's
comes
a
to the top.
sheen.
Sheen,
Yeah.
correct. So it's not like there's an active leak of 500 gallons.
Okay.
But there's a potential one. There should be a boom there, in my opinion. And if that was my business, I'd be getting fined up to wazoo.
And
So
is there fuel
Josh
inside that
owns
owns this boat?
I don't think so. I think it came from was it Burrs of Thames
Crocus.
Port. Where?
I think it came out of Crocus.
Okay. It came up for the hurricane, I believe, correct? Or the threat of the hurricane?
I don't think he was paying his bill.
Okay.
He was being ousted, wherever he was. So, but ultimately, question is who is gonna be responsible for getting that boat out there? It's not in the channel, but it's in our waterways. And
We
it
can't
has
let it stay
potential.
there.
What's-
Can't be left to stay there.
No, it can't be.
No, especially if it's got fuel in it.
There's the potential for leakage
Yeah,
is
yeah.
alone warrants a boom, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But on top of it, it's literally welcome to Norwich. You have this,
Yeah.
you know, and obviously we don't have a lot of boaters coming in now. And any boat that goes by making a wake, it is not in a no-wake zone coming by is potential for causing more damage and potential leakage. It should be hauled.
I will say that when the boat did go down, the owner called a diver and a crane service. So the diver went down and they tried to lift the boat up. And if they lifted up the boat, then naturally the water would drain off, but the crane that they had selected to do it, large enough to do it. So it did spend $3,000 to try to make that attempt, but it did not work. You could see the tractor crane was there and all.
How far?
How long ago was that?
It's onshore. It was tied up to a dock.
Oh.
It was
How
tied
long
up
ago was the effort?
to a pier.
So we're inviting vandalism.
About a month ago. And
And he just walked away. after
You get
the
hurt
fact.
if you try
so
vandalizing
what
this.
I'm,
It's
what
keeled over and
what my thoughts are tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Deanna Roads. And we don't not have a white officer at this point in time, and I'm hoping that she'll accept that role of being the white officer. And do something about it.
no, it's under her department.
It's under her department.
And for the
It's-
record,
That's not covered into the blight ordinance, I'm pretty sure, but that's, you know.
and for the record, the Coast Guard and DEEP, along with the Norwich Fire Department, has been involved in this process. And the marine experts being the pollution officer or control officer at Station London and Sector, Long Island along with DEEP have deemed it no need to move. So
Okay.
But that's,
it wasn't like it was just maliciousness. It was.
Yeah, wait till the fuel's.
So what about, yeah, so there's no, is there, I mean, does somebody have liability or have it removed or
I think
That's
the
the-
person who, I think.
that owned it?
We don't have any, we can't as a commission do anything about it. I
Right.
did speak with Michael Driscoll about it. But I think that the city would go after Josh Purvis because it's tied to his dock. I asked Josh about it and I had a couple of conversations. And the last conversation I had with Josh Purvis, he said, if he did not authorize the tying of the boat. And he said, and I told him about the crane and the diver, and then he said to me, well, what's in it for me?
That's Josh.
Nothing. So I think that because it's on his, it really is on his property now.
I would argue it's the owner of the boat's responsibility.
Yeah.
Their property, it's their responsibility, and if they're insured, the insurance would pay to remove it.
If,
Sure, sure.
If they have insurance, yeah. But bottom line is it's the boat owner's responsibility. I guess after that, you could argue it's the land owner's responsibility, but it's not actually on anyone's land.
It's tied to his
It-
property.
I understand, but if someone ties up to the city dock, that's city property, is it therefore the city's responsibility if a boat sinks there?
How many feet is this boat?
Like 50. It's a good sized boat, and it was attractive prior to being waterlogged.
Does anybody know if it's financed?
If it's, I'm sorry.
If it's financed?
Yeah. I don't even know the owner, but
yeah, the bank might carry secondary insurance on something
Well,
like that.
maybe the bank doesn't know about it and they could light a fire.
Yeah,
The way you could find out is if you did an abstract title, if it's.
there's no title on that boat.
Is it that old?
There's no title on it.
Well, what year is it?
It's
Oh,
old
lucky
enough where
lady.
it's not, there's no title on it.
No,
70s?
not, the larger boats.
They're documented, but no title.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could run an abstracted title and that's, you may be able to find a lien holder. You know what, I used to do those
Well,
myself.
The Coast Guard would know if it's documented.
Well, that's who you file,
Yeah.
with, yeah.
But again, if a boat came up to the marina at American Wharf at 2:00 in the morning, tied off to the dock and sank, does it become the marina's problem? Same with our docks, the city's docks in the city. If a boat comes up, ties up, they're allowed to be there 24 hours within a 48-hour period. That boat sinks. Does it become the responsibility of the city of Norwich to remove that boat?
Ultimately, it does. If the
Really?
people are not going to move.
Once it's abandoned.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But bottom line, I think it's the boat owner's responsibility until
Mhm.
we rule out he's not insured, doesn't have the financial means to do it or whatever. But And I would argue if there's fuel on board, that it should be booked.
Mark, this is.
What's cost?
could I-
Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff, go ahead.
Just a couple of comments while I'm listening, and sorry to interrupt, but doesn't, the harbor master has significant authority that can be applied to removal of abandoned and sunken vessels? He has to make some sort of order, I think, to start a process, but if there are questions involved about, who's liable and what to do, the harbor master can then request assistance. Since he has authorities that apply, he can request assistance from the Attorney General's office to explain what the process is to be followed.
There you go.
I think the harbor master should apply his authority, because I know that's what's done in other towns. That they utilize that. I forget the section of the statute, but start it with that, and then have the harbor master inquire in the Attorney General's office. And and this may not be applicable here, but I was discussing it with Deep about the old sunken boat. That Deep has a fund that includes monies that they get from violators who violate their permits, and it's a fund that can be used for removal of abandoned vessels and derelict structures. So, and I don't know that we're at this point now with this boat, but as an example, there are derelict structures in the Mianus River abandoned in Greenwich. So the approach that we're following is that the town will pay to have them removed by a contractor, and then hopefully recover that money from Deep's violation fund. But I think that I'm talking too much here, but the harbor master should take the appropriate action to start the process, and then request the guidance and direction from the Attorney General's office. That's just my thoughts to interject here.
Sounds like an idea, Jeff.
So how do we do that? We have to raise a motion?
Yeah,
Can't hear you, Mike.
Yeah, I was asking about a motion.
I propose the motion to have, reach out to the harbor master to have the boat dealt with. If it means contacting the AG's office, then do so.
so bad.
Yes, second.
Second by Mark Sacuso.
And then for discussion, the harbor master, to start the process, could reach out to the liaison at Deep and get guidance from them before going to the Attorney General's office. So Deep is supposed to advise the harbor master on these matters, and then that's. I'm sorry to interrupt again, but that.
No, it's good.
Great.
Yeah.
It's good, done.
The best interruption I've had today.
Yeah.
But I think he can start with the liaison at Deep, and he knows who she is. Ms. Zapla is her name.
What's her name?
What is it, Zapla?
Yes, it's CZAPLA. That's the Deep liaison with the harbor master, and then she can direct. Then they can move. She can tell him what the harbor master, what sort of order he has to issue, and under what section of the statutes. And then they can figure out what else they need from the Attorney General's office.
Okay.
Super.
This is Zapla.
And if you want,
Do you know her first name?
Kim. I can
Kim.
alert her if you want tomorrow.
Sure, that would be great. Right, Tuck?
Mr. Thayer will be contacting her. Okay.
Absolutely. All right, so on the motion.
Jeff, you're gonna get in touch with Ms. Zappa, and then you're gonna get back with me, and I'll get a hold of Thayer, or you wanna get a hold of Thayer, who is a harbor master? Why don't you get back with me, Jeff, tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. If you're
Why don't you, Tucker's saying, why don't you get back with him tomorrow after?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Good.
All right. So on the motion, there's still a motion on the table.
All
All
right.
Yep, we gotta vote on it.
right, Tucker's
All right.
aye. Mark Sacuso,
Aye.
Mike Galliano,
Aye.
Yes.
me, Michael Gualtieri, yes.
Yes.
Peter Nystrom, yes.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Sophia Lewitt,
Yes.
yes. John Salamone,
Yes.
unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, the rolling shelves, That's an ongoing process. There is a fellow from, his name is Lou Allen, and he's heading up the athletic department and the K through 8, I believe.
8. It is.
K through 8.
Yep.
Yeah, and he is very interested in getting something done and starting that kind of a program. But that's going to go to Superintendent Stringfellow, and so he's working on it. And we have viewed the shells at Mohegan Park. They are in good shape. They're outside, but they're in good shape. They have to be waxed. One of his thoughts was to bring one of them to the school and promote it in that manner. And his thought was to do it in the 8th grade level before they get into high school. And then I thought that was pretty good idea. And so at this point, he's working on it. And that's all I have to report on. Any questions about that? Do we all know what the shells we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, and then the Connecticut Port Authority. I spoke with Jeff earlier today, and he talked about having Joe Salvatore and John Henshaw from the Port Authority. John Henshaw is the new executive director from the Port Authority, come up and talk about different areas of the river that maybe we can do something with. We are certainly hemmed in by the railroad, but and maybe we can find some. There is money available through the Port Authority. It's $9 million unspent money, and then there's another $5 million per year for the next 5 years. A total $25 million. We won't get all of it, but there's money's available, and maybe we can do something with it. Get some different ideas, unless you all have different ideas, and I welcome any ideas you may have regarding this thing.
Questions for John Solomon?
Yes.
John, is our purchasing agent started the process for an RFP, since we have to spend the money up front to restore the docks at Brown Park first, and then we get reimbursed now? Where does that stand?
Yes. It's, he started that. I think he's pretty far along as far as I know. I'll check on it tomorrow, Peter.
Could you speak up, John? Sorry.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
okay?
go ahead.
Yes, my understanding is that the process of acquiring bids for the dock rebuild has started. I'll have to see at what part he's in at this point. I can talk to him tomorrow and let Peter know, and I can
We'll let
relay that
everyone know
to Tucker, so he can inform the board where we are, the commission.
I spoke with John this afternoon before I came upstairs, and he said that they have done some diving on the piles, making sure that the pilings are suitable for what the docks confirm that an RFP has been issued to a firm down along the shore. I don't have the name of the firm, closer to the Norwalk area, and they are going to figure out what has to go there, and if the docks are compatible to the pilings that are there. When we figured this whole thing out with DOCO at the very beginning, we figured that the docks would be attached to the existing pilings. It was a surprise to me to find out that they did some diving either yesterday or the day before on the pilings. And we don't have a report. I do not have a report back yet on the pilings.
Hey, John, this is Mike, just FYI, Bob is going to have knee replacement surgery, I think 2 or 3 weeks, and he'll be out for about 3 weeks after that. I think right before Thanksgiving, he's going to have the procedure.
Mark, this is Jeff again. I'm sorry, can I
Go ahead.
ask a question?
Yep.
Yeah, Tucker, you said someone inspected the pilings. How was that paid for? Or who did that? And is that intended to be paid for with part of the grant money?
You know, it's a surprise to me too, when I went down and saw Bob this afternoon, and I said, how is everything going? And he said, well, we've started diving on it. And I was very surprised for that kind of a comment, because I understand that the firm that the RFP, when it went out, to this firm in, I think, Nowar, they're charging $15,000 for the service.
But
And that was not part of the grant.
no, and if there are new pilings required, then in order to do what we intend to do with the grant, we'd have to amend the permit to include installing new pilings.
Well, I don't think we want to do that.
Well then, this is stuff to work out. And
We have a,
also on
the Army Corps of Engineers, we have a permit from DEEP, and we have those permits in hand with numbers, and they're okay to do it.
right,
and
but you're saying that the pilings now need to be replaced.
No, I'm not saying that the pilings need to be replaced. I'm just saying that
They were diving, I think you said, to make sure they were suitable for what the project is going to be, so we could make sure that they could be reused.
Okay.
So there's no report yet on that, no results.
Oh, I see. And then the other comment I'd make is when I talked with Mr. Salvatore about the reimbursement to the city for the grant, and he said they would be willing to work out an agreement whereby when you wouldn't have to do all of the work to request reimbursement. As you got invoices from the selected contractor, you could send those to the Port Authority for payment as the work is ongoing, rather than pay out all the money up front and then seek reimbursement. So that's another topic to discuss, the method of getting payment from the Port Authority to pay the contractor. And as Tucker mentioned, Mr. Salvatore and Mr. Henshaw are agreeable to meeting with us in Norwich to discuss, and I think it would be a good idea to do this, to discuss the current project and then opportunities for additional work. And they asked us if we could provide them with several dates that might work for members of the commission, and then they could then respond to that. So I was just going to suggest maybe in the next week or two, or maybe before Thanksgiving, if we could come up with some dates to meet with them. But thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
So I don't understand. They went and dove on them and are going to send us a bill for something that we didn't necessarily order, or we didn't order. I'm confused.
The RFP went out.
I understand, but RFP isn't an order to have services provided. So someone dove on them and they're going to bill us X amount of
I
dollars.
don't think they're going to bill us. I think that's part of the deal, part of the service that this RFP is providing.
Well, was the RFP awarded?
Yeah, the RFP hasn't even been put out yet, so there's no
How
award.
can you award a contract? How can you?
Who authorized the work? I think that's the
That's my
question.
concern, yeah.
Find a fire truck, just tell them they're going.
Who, John, do you know anything about that? Who authorized
We did
the
measure
work?
Garage first, right? Seen it.
John Salamone?
I do not, this is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, okay.
But the significance again is if they determine that the pilings are not suitable, that changes that changes a lot,
Yeah.
because we'd have to get a new permit, and then the cost would be different, and we'd be,
A lot more.
anyway, I hadn't known about that.
When we went to the Port Authority, we went to the Port Authority with a plan of what the docks were, and it's a replacement of the existing docks. That was the plan. And everything was designed according to, with an 80-foot run for handicap accessibility and the new dock system.
Did the Port Authority want the work?
Port Authority awarded us the money to do what we gave to them. Now, when Bob received that, he said he did not have enough information to go out for docks. So then he went out for the RFP to this firm in Norwalk, I believe Norwalk.
Does he have somebody else drafting the RFP for him?
It's called the Race Company.
Yeah.
He went to the Race Company.
Oh, I know them quite well.
Okay.
But we're talking about two different things, though.
Yeah.
Somebody inspected the facility, and that apparently was this Race Coastal Engineering, and I can certainly ask them about it because I know them well.
Oh.
But that's separate. That's again, if the pilot
Maybe was
needs
it-
to be replaced.
Was it part of maybe of the drafting of the RFP, probably?
Okay,
maybe
so
they-
were they expecting that the fee for the inspection would come out of the grant money? Is that,
The whole thing doesn't make sense to me. I can't see an RFP company sending inspectors out. There would be an RFP to have an inspection company.
Well, they would have to ask somebody here, say, hey, we need to do this in order to complete the work, because, you know, the scope of, the scope of the RFP is gonna change, you know?
Maybe
So-
they're doing the work to bid on the RFP.
I believe that's what they do.
Oh, all right, so
Well,
I don't even really get charged for.
No, because they're gonna eat.
Yeah,
I said
we're
5
we're
grand
not,
for the diver,
we're not
that's
gonna
on them.
authorize it, sorry.
Yeah, it's on them.
Yeah. That may be what's going on.
And that could be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my question is Bill gonna come across his desk that we have to prove for pylon inspections that we didn't put out a scope of work? Okay,
I'm
I'm not signing off on that.
Manufacturer building a spec, like demo
Could be.
ambulance, and that's just the cost of their doing business.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably what. it
Demo
is.
fire truck, same thing. They eat it. Go, spend money to make money.
Don, can you ask Bob tomorrow or the next day the authorization to go out for that request from Race Engineering?
Yeah, just,
I was gonna suggest that, so we don't speculate too much.
Yeah,
Let me
right.
talk to Bob tomorrow, and I'll put on my list of the other thing to talk about, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Normally, Bob is very thorough, so for him to write the RFP, I'm surmising that there needed to be some answers on the pilings. Doesn't mean that
Yeah.
we necessarily need to replace them, but they need to, state what needs to be done with it. And it's not it's a pretty complicated RFP.
yes.
I'm guessing they have a diver on that they pay, so it's not like it's costing them money in the pocket. It's just his job for the day is go north and dive.
Yeah.
I just think there should have been some communication if this process was gonna happen so that we're not having this conversation.
Yes.
I agree.
Someone should have reported back to you, and said, we're gonna do this as part of our process, but we're wasting
Yeah.
time just talking about it.
I agree. Okay,
And Mark, pardon me again, if you allow me to, I'll find out from Race Engineering tonight or tomorrow morning exactly what they did.
Okay.
Because they do work in other towns that I can call them and they'll tell me.
and just get back to Tucker on that.
Yes.
okay. So, the harbor management plan update.
Jeff?
And Jeff, can you
Yes.
address this?
Yes, And since the last meeting, I hadn't had communications back from Deep. And then I learned that Mr. Kozak, who has been working with us for a number of years, retired. And that's why I hadn't heard back from Deep.
Ah, David.
And David, yes. And the first thing I was like to suggest, as long as I've been working with you, he's been helpful. And he's from Norwich. I don't
He's
know
from
if
Norwich,
still
yeah.
lives in- I don't know if he still is. And I was going to suggest that maybe the commission, that Tucker could send a letter wishing him well upon his retirement and thanking him for his assistance in the past to the Harbor Management Commission. I thought that might be a nice thing to do. But in any event, I resent the substance of the draft plan, the goals, objectives, policies, the area-specific recommendations, and the recommendations for implementation, all of which Dave had reviewed with me, and I thought I had responded to all his comments. And so I sent those just recently back again to Deep, to his supervisor, and to a person I don't know her, I forget her last name, and I'm waiting to hear back from them, and said I'm willing to come to Hartford or however you want to. But these are the provisions of the plan that we think are ready to be, submitted for approval. And if you have any comments, please let me know. The one issue that I think we have to give some thought to, and I don't think we want to back off, is that we want the plan to be amended with the provision that the recommendations of the Harbor Management Commission are binding, and that's what's been approved more recently in other harbor management plans, and that's what's called into question by the Superior Court decision that we had talked about. And actually, as in West Haven tonight, because a West Haven legislator had expressed to the West Haven Harbor Commission her support to work with the commission to amend or clarify the state legislation authorizing harbor management commissions to make clear that the commissions have the authority to review deep actions. So that's one thing. I don't know how the Deep is going to respond to that, because that court case is still being appealed by the town of Greenwich. And then last month I mentioned Sophia had made some suggestions about the emphasis of the policies, and requesting that the emphasis be made on environmental conservation and protection. And we talked about this at the last meeting, that it's always been the basic principle or goal of the plan for redevelopment and economic growth and development linked to the harbor. But that depends on clean environment and a healthy environment, so that we could link the two. And I tried to do that. But so I'm waiting to hear back now from Deep, and I'm hoping that it would be ready to Deep will be okay with everything, and that I can report that to you at the next meeting. And the other thing I noticed is that the maps that go in Chapter 6, which outline our recommendations in Chapter 6, the base maps were old, so I'm switching those. I've got 2019 aerial photos as the underlying base map, but and I said to Deep, I haven't sent those to you yet, but I will. So thank you for your patience, but that's what I've been doing. Stop talking.
Thanks, Jeff, for the update. Any other questions about the update?
Nope.
Do we have any citizen comments?
Nope.
Okay. Let's see, anything else?
Yeah, I got something. Melinda, as soon as you're done with the minutes, could you forward them to me? And
Sure will, Mike.
in regards to the gift certificates, I'll give it to accounts payable. Now, do you guys want to authorize me to get the check, and I can pick up gift certificates? I just think it would be quicker, and then I can let you know and you could invite him down and you could present him with him.
Sure.
All right, so, so if we make a motion to do that, but also we need to pick out 3 places. I'm thinking, maybe like a sit-down thing. Is he married or?
No, I don't believe so, but I would think something sit down. I would recommend these guys, Harper Dragon and
Stella's is,
Listella's.
So keep it downtown?
I'm not opposed to spreading it throughout town. If we want to do 2 downtown, then 1
There's Prime 82.
Prime 82,
Yeah.
Bellafiore, so something along that line. The only thing I would suggest is we make sure that they're current with their taxes. I don't want to,
Good point.
I don't want anything fighting us in the backside that we bought a gift certificate for somewhere and they're delinquent in their taxes.
And or loans.
I don't know if we can go to that level, but if we, I think taxes are
I
public
can get
record.
to the detail on that.
Okay, well, I just don't want
Taxes
this,
are important.
I don't want it blown up in our face that we,
That's simple to do. I just walk around the corner and then walk,
okay, so.
pull up my computer.
So you're gonna go Prime 82,
You want to do Prime 82 as one?
Costello's and
Stella's.
Hopkins Drive.
Harvard, I would suggest Harvard Dragon.
Yeah, perfect. I'll make a, you need a motion?
Yeah,
Yeah, please.
You want to make
You
it a
gotta,
second?
you gotta authorize me.
Yeah, I make a motion to authorize, Michael to spend the $300 for those 3 restaurants. through
I
accounts.
second it. Michael Aliano seconds.
Tucker,
Aye.
Mark.
Yep.
Mike,
Aye.
second Mike,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Mark, yes. Sophia,
Yes,
John Solomon.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Unanimous.
Great.
That makes it easy.
And the last thing on the agenda is to
Adjourn. Motion to adjourn by me.
Second it.
Second by Mike.
Aye.
Tucker,
Aye.
Mike, Mark.
Yes. Aye,
Mike.
Michael.
Mike,
Yes.
Peter, Mark, yes. Sophia, yes. John, yes.
Bye.
We stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
424.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
You had the opportunity to watch TV and you took